This 102-count indictment charges that a local street gang burglarized, robbed, menaced the residents of an area in Crown Heights. The arrest of 14 gang members associated with the Brower Park Gang, also known as the Brower Boys, was a joint effort by the Gang Bureau of the Kings County District Attorney's Office and the NYPD. The defendants ranged from 15 to 19. Between April 2011 and March 2012, these defendants and other members of the Brower Boys burglarized numerous apartments by gaining entry through windows at or near ground level, or by crossing over rooftops and climbing down the fire escapes into adjacent windows. The Brower Boys were primarily interested in stealing electronic equipment such as cell phones, laptops, cameras, consoles, and video games. They would then sell these items in local bodegas and other stores. When these gang members started their cycle of crime, the majority of the burglaries occurred when the residents were not home. However, the Brower Boys became increasingly brazen with their criminal activity. There are incidents where the residents were home and these gang members took drastic actions to carry out their plot. Their criminal behavior became more and more violent over a very short period of time. In one instance, it's alleged that the defendant, Terry Wally, broke into an apartment through the window at 1:45 in the morning. When the noise woke the resident, he observed Wally holding a .380 semi-automatic weapon. The resident and Wally struggled over the gun, with Wally shooting the victim in the forearm. Wally suffered a gunshot wound to his thigh during the struggle. The police responded to a 911 call and apprehended Wally and recovered the loaded fire gun. Many of the Brower Boys openly boasted on social media sites, such as Facebook and Twitter, about the criminal activity. The defendant, Olurabu Henry, would post on his Facebook page that he was, quote, going to work, end quote. On January 30th, 2012, the defendant, Darren Dyson, wrote on his Facebook page that it was, quote, break-in day on the avenue. On that day, defendant Dyson and 3 of the Brower Boys, Deshaun Samuels, Christopher Scott, and a 13-year-old apprehended juvenile, gained entry to an apartment in mid-afternoon by crossing the rooftops adjoining Christopher Scott's apartment building. Wearing masks to cover their faces and armed with 2 firearms, these defendants and the apprehended juvenile tied and bound the male and female resident of the apartment and threatened to kill them if they went to the police. It is alleged that all 4 sexually assaulted the female victim while she was still tied with her hands behind her back. When the 4 were arrested, a .22 caliber revolver was recovered from Christopher Scott's apartment, and some of the property belonging to the residents were recovered from Dyson's apartment and from a local bodega used by the Brower Boys to sell their stolen goods. Members of the NYPD's elite burglary, larceny, and surveillance team, or BLAST, were assigned a reconnaissance task on several of the Brower Boys because of the patterned burglaries in Crown Heights. On March 2nd, 2012, the BLAST unit followed Daryl Dyson and Orlub Henry. You'll see a 2-minute video of the activity for these 2 gang members for that day. You want to play it?
Please come to you. Carry him both in. All right, come out, come out, come out. Foot pursuit, going down the stairs, adjoining building. Henry did not come out yet. Henry's coming out. He's coming out onto the roof. Henry's up the roof. He's hopping the, and he's gonna be, Sarge is coming right down the same way as you.
The blast unit also caught defendants Avery Millington and Destiny Lamore on video burglarizing residents at Lincoln Place and Eastern Parkway on October 19, 2007. Another defendant, Andre Valentino, is responsible for 5 different burglaries. One of them occurred on Christmas Day 2011 when Valentino was joined by Deshaun Samuels and Darren Dyson as they went up to the roof of Samuels' residence located at 921 St. Mark's Avenue. From that rooftop, they jumped over other rooftops and down the fire escape of a connected building and went into an apartment through a window. In 2011, there were 16 reported burglaries on St. Mark's Avenue between Kingston Avenue and Albany Avenue. 15 of these burglaries were rear window entries. 14 of these burglaries occurred on the same side of St. Mark's Avenue with rooftop access to 921 St. Mark's Avenue. This is where the defendants Deshaun Samuels and Decian Samuels lived. The 14 members of the Brower Boys faced charges including conspiracy in the 3rd degree, attempted murder, burglary, robbery, and criminal possession of a weapon in the 2nd degree. The top count carries a sentence of 5 to 25 years of each count. The burglaries are individual crimes, so the judges could sentence the defendants to consecutive sentence. The investigation into the Brower Park gang of the Brower Boys was led by Chief James Essig of Brooklyn North Patrol, Deputy Inspector Capocci from the 77 Precinct, and Police Officer Rodriguez, Sergeant Cheswright, all of the 77 Precinct, Lieutenants Seamus McHugh, Brian Lukowski, Police Officers Daniel Malik, Adam McLaughlin, all from the 77 Precinct Detective Squad, and they were assisted, of course, by the blast unit. The case is being prosecuted by our gang bureau led by its chief, Deanna Rodriguez. The lead prosecutor is First Deputy Bureau Chief Michael Perkins, assisted by Assistant District Attorney Lauren Ortiz. Commissioner Kelly.
Thank you, Joe. The last time I was here with the district attorney at this podium, we talked about police officers who were fluent in social media and enabled us to track the shootings of gang members in Brownsville. It turns out that the Brower Boys followed the news of this press conference very closely, because on the Facebook they talked about the possibility of the Brower Boys being next, and they signed off on their messages with LOL, laughing out loud. Well, there was one person who was laughing out loud, and that was Police Officer Michael Rodriguez of the 77th Precinct. He was able to get up on Facebook and friend the members of the Brower gang to such an extent that he was able to track their next moves, and that's why you were able to see such a remarkable video. His good work also was responsible for solving a vicious rape committed by some of these individuals that are being indicted today. Now, there was at least one member among the gang's friends who didn't have much stock in Facebook's confidentiality, because he posted, quote, "If they was coming after the Brower gang, you all just gave yourselves away." After one of the Brower Boys joked that, quote, "They are coming after Brower next," another gang member complained, quote, "Don't say that. Look at my Facebook name. It was signed Brower Boy Body Bags." Now, Body Bags' real name is Stephen Brown. and in a show of surprising discretion, he then proceeded to change his name from Brower Boy Body Bags to Low Key Body Bags. Now, some of them found the instant celebrity of social media irresistible. An 18-year-old with the Facebook name, quote, Pretty Boy Sleepy, posted videos and photos of himself with a gun. In another instance, the Brower Boys argued on Facebook over the laptop and other proceeds of a burglary. With the arrest of the Brower Boys, a string of burglaries and robberies have been solved. But residents certainly shouldn't let their guard down just because many of the Brower Boys are in jail. Burglary is not rocket science. The Brower Boys targeted people who moved into the neighborhood recently. They looked for open windows. They rang doorbells to see if someone was home. Now, we know, yes, the city is safer. Last year, Brooklyn had a record low number of murders, but it's still a very good idea in Crown Heights, or certainly throughout the city, to keep your doors and windows locked. I want to commend the commanding officer of the 77th Precinct, Deputy Inspector Elvio Capucci, and obviously Police Officer Rodriguez, the Precinct Anti-Crime Team, which is led by Sergeant Troy Lewis, the Field Intelligence Officer, Sergeant David Cheesewright, and I've seen many cases through the years developed by Sergeant Cheesewright. All of the Precinct Detective Squad, and as the District Attorney said, the blast unit, the Brooklyn North Burglary, Larceny, and Apprehension and Surveillance Team. So congratulations to all on a great job. Thank you, Joe.
James Caldwell is the president of the 77 Precinct Council. He'd like to say a few words. Jim.
Thank you, District Attorney. Yes, my name is James Caldwell, the president of the 77 Precinct Community Council. And it's remarkable. We are very happy in our community this morning. The community is relieved because burglaries, the community was, they never knew who was going to get hit next. But thanks to the great work of the police department, Commissioner Kelly and DA Hynes, and the chief of Brooklyn North, and especially our commanding officer, Deputy Inspector Capucci, because he was getting hit hard. But thank God for good police officers and good detective work. They really got out there and got the job done. So we are relieved in our community, knowing that these perps have been arrested, and we're very thankful. So every month at our precinct, we always give out Cop of the Month. So we already know who's Cop of the Month is going to be this month, and we're very happy about this. So we commend the police department and the DA's office for a great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim. Any questions?
Could we hear from Officer Rodriguez a moment?
Sure.
Was he working in the anti-crime unit? Why were you searching through Facebook to see what you could find out? How did you come upon this?
Just by monitoring Facebook, seeing if there was any posts in relation to any crimes that might be occurring in the area.
And how did you decide to approach it and start, conversation with them and start your own postings?
It wasn't through conversations or postings, it was just through monitoring.
Commissioner, you said that burglary is not rocket science. How would you describe people who do crime or discuss crime openly on Facebook?
Not wise. And obviously, but it's a cat and mouse game. We have to try to stay ahead of them. What we've seen is a lot of codes being used on social media. We have, through the Intelligence Division, developed a lexicon, and it changes constantly. We try to keep up with it, but they're constantly amending it and changing to try to stay ahead of us. So it is it's an ongoing challenge that we're very much engaged in.
Mr. Hynes, I wanted to ask you about the violence sort of escalating. A burglary doesn't involve violence, but then this will escalate it.
Unless you've been the victim of a burglary.
Right.
Right.
Okay. I thought a robbery involved.
Yeah, well, it's my house in Flatbush was burglarized 4 times in 5 years before I ran for this office. And you feel violated by what they do. It's very violent. It's a violent crime.
Well, I was just just trying to make the
Yeah.
point that also it escalated to the point that in one case, a 13-year-old was part of a gang of assault, sexual assault. So
Yeah.
that's pretty disturbing.
Yeah, and it is, as the commissioner said, we were below 200 murders last year for the first time since 1963. As of this morning, we are 10 fewer than last year. So I think the police have, NYPD has done a fantastic job keeping the spike on violent crime down. And I hope you know the significance of the fact that these kids are between 15 and 19, and should they be convicted, they're going to spend some very, very serious time in prison. And I would hope by publicizing this, you may frighten other young people out of this kind of activity.